Hello there guys, what is going on? Son of Chelsea back here again for another video. Hope you're all doing well, keeping safe and healthy. Today going to be looking at Chelsea transfers. There was a massive article in The Athletic which was released this morning, which has caused a lot of intrigue and interest across social media from Chelsea fans today, that we're going to get into in the subject of today's video, which I think is really interesting to talk about. But before we get into any of that, I want to ask you guys, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and a notification bell so you never miss an upload. Also, hit that like button if you're enjoying the content, because it helps out as well. But this article I was referring to was from Simon Johnson, Chelsea reporter, very trusted, from The Athletic. In this article here that you can see on your screen now, Chelsea are likely to make two key signings, including Ben Chilwell. Simon Johnson reports for The Athletic that Chelsea owner Roman Abramovich is prepared to back Frank Lampard in the transfer market by adding two marquee signings to the squad, with Leicester City's Ben Chilwell still one of their main targets. Sources have told The Athletic that Abramovich is prepared to sanction big money transfers when the window reopens, as long as the deal is deemed right for the club. They're keen to make two major signings and could even do more. Big business. Chelsea's accounts are going to be boosted this summer with the money generated by Eden Hazard's move to Real Madrid in 2019, an initial 89 million, with adults taking it up to 150 million arriving, plus Alvaro Morata's permanent switch to Atletico Madrid for 48 million being completed. And then he goes through a list of targets with a lot of names we've heard about: Bayer Leverkusen's Kai Havertz, Jadon Sancho from Borussia Dortmund, Moussa Dembele from Lyon, and Timo Werner from RB Leipzig. Preferably, a lot of attacking options there that apparently Chelsea are really interested in strengthening that area, because it's been one of Frank Lampard's biggest frustrations about the lack of clinical edge to Chelsea's game this season, and the stats bear that out. Chelsea have underperformed their XG this season, which shows Chelsea are a team that can create a lot of opportunities, but finishing them is another matter, and that's something Lampard wants to address in the summer. But as well, left back is a major area for improvement that Chelsea are focusing on, and apparently, even with all the names we've heard about, Tagliafico, Alex Telles, other names as well, apparently Ben Chilwell still remains Chelsea's top target and Lampard's first priority. Chilwell will not be cheap at his current contract because he still has 4 years left to run. There were suggestions earlier this year that the England international was valued by Leicester at 85 million, but Chelsea think the impact of the virus will help lower the fee. And also, Simon Johnson reports on, in terms of outgoing left backs, Emerson is in talks with Juventus for a move there, which we've heard about from Di Marzio in recent weeks, and potentially a swap deal for Alexandro, but I think it's more likely that potentially Emerson could leave. This is really revealing, and it's quite surprising personally to me to think that Chelsea could be spending extortionate amounts this summer, because everything we've heard from insiders, from people who know the game, from even directors from some of the big clubs in world football, that there is going to be major spending this summer. But apparently Chelsea could be doing things differently and still feel they're in a position to do so, and Abramovich wants to back Lampard's vision, which I think overall, whenever we talk about debate targets, this target, that player, how good he can be for Chelsea or not, my personal opinion, I think fundamentally it's positive that Chelsea want to back Frank Lampard and back his vision and back his targets. I think that fundamentally for me is the biggest positive that comes out of this. Whether those targets actually come to Chelsea, different matter, especially Jadon Sancho for me. That's the one on the list that I sort of think is going to be very difficult, because we know the interest from Manchester United. But if Chelsea could pull that deal off and Sancho and Chilwell were the two big signings, I don't know how any fan could complain this summer. It would be a miraculous transfer window for Chelsea. We've heard so much from fans about their frustrations about Chelsea not backing coaches in the past, not backing Lampard in the January transfer window. If you're one of those people, I think this should please you that Chelsea are going to back Frank Lampard apparently. Antonio Conte, his time at the club, that caused a lot of friction with Chelsea not backing his personal targets of like Lukaku and Alexandro at the time. Whether you think about Ben Chilwell, whether you think he's the best option Chelsea can get in terms of left back, I think it's almost an irrelevancy, because I think for me, fundamentally, what this article talks about, and what we've seen with Hakim Ziyech as well, is Lampard being backed in the transfer market, something which is going to be essential for him to be successful at Chelsea. If Chelsea want to get back to the top of the Premier League, it's not just about bringing through youth players. It's not just about Lampard's tactics and his coaching. It's also about investing. That's what both Manchester City and Liverpool have done. Jurgen Klopp, for his good coaching, being an amazing coach, being an amazing man manager and motivator, and transforming that club to basically Premier League champions now, about to become Premier League champions. He needed big investment. He needed Virgil van Dijk. He needed Alisson. He needed key areas of his squad to be improved to take them to the next level. And that's exactly what Lampard is going to need as well. So it's positive to see that Chelsea are thinking about going for these players. Now, it's all talk at the moment. I do think it's a little bit convenient that a lot of the names Chelsea are being linked with are Bundesliga players, because Bundesliga is the only league currently, major league in Europe, that is playing. I'd be interested to see when the Premier League restarts again and players start scoring goals and doing well, we're going to start to be linked with more Premier League players. But that's the way it goes. But I do think, Simon Johnson is more of a trusted source in terms of Chelsea news. I do trust what he says, and when he talks, I think you should listen to him, because I think he does have good links within the club. How subsequently it would affect certain areas, left back, I don't think that's a problem there. I'd be happy for Chelsea to spend a lot of money in that area to improve it, because I think to balance out both our fullbacks and to balance out our game, I think that's vitally important. But in terms of striker, if you're going for the level of striker like a Moussa Dembele or a Timo Werner, how is that going to impact the future of Tammy Abraham? Yes, we want competition, but I think realistically, those are players that are going to instantly want first team football. And how are Chelsea going to deal with handing Tammy Abraham a new contract? Will Tammy Abraham be willing to, sign that new contract and stay with Chelsea if he thinks that potentially he's only going to get 1 year being in the first team, and then Chelsea are just going to go for a bigger striker and revert to type? I think that's a key issue that needs to be discussed. I don't think you can just throw that out the window, even if we do feel it of course will improve the squad depth. But, I think we're still going to have to wait a few months now. I think that, potentially the transfer window may not be till August or September at this point, because, the Premier League season, when it restarts, if it goes to completion, which we hope it will, it's not going to be till August probably. I think I may be wrong on that. The transfer window may be adjusted to happen whilst games are still going on, but I think that would be unlikely probably. And especially looking at the timetables of all the big European leagues, it just sort of feels like potentially late August, September may be the time for the transfer window. So we've still got a long way to go till these deals potentially may be able to happen. But I think fundamentally it's positive and exciting for Chelsea fans to think that Chelsea are going to try their best to go out there in what is going to be a difficult climate and majorly improve the first team squad. So now I want to hear your guys' thoughts. What are your thoughts on this article? Please go and read it in its entirety on The Athletic. I'll leave the link in the description box below so you can go and check it out. But as well, in terms of Ben Chilwell, what are your thoughts on that being a big target for Chelsea? The targets I've mentioned, do you think it's realistic that Chelsea can go out there and spend big and make 2 marquee signings to improve the squad this summer? Please let me know in the comments below. But thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you did enjoy it, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Follow me on Twitter @SonOfChelsea. Have a great day, and I'll see you again.